We're recording. Okay. So you will see a problem like this on your quiz. How many negative x's are there?
1, 2.
Negative x.
How many years?
Sometimes, y'all, it's like beating my head up against this wall. Okay. There's negative 1x. So,
Like right now.
okay, come on back. Here we go. This means negative 1 multiplied by x. What's the inverse of multiplication?
Division.
So we are going to divide both sides by negative 1.
What?
This is foreshadowing. We're going to need to know how to divide both sides by a negative today. That gives me a negative 45. What questions do we have there? Because I heard a what? Again, not naming names. When you have a number next to a variable, it is called a coefficient. That means multiplication. Okay, this one. This is our cross multiplication. You will absolutely have this on your test. When we cross multiply, we have our 2 in parentheses times the n minus 3 in parentheses equals the 3n. You have to distribute. 2 multiplied by the n is 2n's. 2 multiplied by the negative 3 is negative 6 equals 3n. Now, the goal is to isolate the variable. We need to get our n's on the same side. So step 1, distribute if necessary. We did. Step 2, combine like terms on the same side. Nothing. Then we have to combine variables on opposite sides. I want to get all of my n's on this side, so I have to subtract 2 n's from both sides. That leaves me negative 6 equals 1n. I divide by 1. N is equaling negative 6. Questions there?
Negative 6?
Yes, ma'am.
How'd you get negative?
Well, it's n minus 3. 2 times that negative 3 is negative 6. That negative 6 didn't move. Positive times a negative is negative.
Wait, but why'd you? Oh wait, okay, no.
Are you
I
good?
did. I got the same answer, but I did. I divided the 6's instead of.
Okay. So, graph. This one, how many numbers do we need on the number line? How many different numbers do we need?
6.
3.
Who said 6?
Nobody.
On each side.
Oh no.
Yes, one on each side. Okay, now, this is where it gets tricky. What number is less than negative 3?
4. Negative 4.
Negative 4. Then negative 2. Open circle or closed circle?
Open,
Why?
because you're going that way.
It has nothing to do with away. Why is it open? Go ahead, Isabel.
There's no line.
Yeah, there's no equal to underneath
I was
it.
gonna say that.
That means this is not part of the solution. Negative 3 is not less than negative 3. Now, notice how the variable's on the left and it's pointed this way. So that means we're going to shade it this way. You will see this on your quiz or on your test on Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. Pause.
Wouldn't that be in the, shouldn't that circle be on the line instead of hovering over it?
So the reason why I don't like doing that is when I put a circle on the line, it looks like it could be filled up, especially with my pencil. So I put it above so I can see that it's
That's
empty.
helpful, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, write the inequality. So we know 2 things right away. We know that there is going to be a variable. You said, because the person who doesn't talk said, oh, can we use any variable? Yes, any variable. Riley, give me a letter.
B.
A B. There's my B. Okay? We know that the number that it's starting off is 18. So I know it's going to be B at 18. Now we need to figure out the inequality symbol. Well, first off, the closed circle and open circle helps me. Because it's closed, it's going to be something with an equal to.
It's
and then
greater than.
It's greater than, so it's pointed this way. Which gives me B is greater than or equal to 18. Good. Questions?
Nope.
Okay. Get out your notes because we're going to be taking notes and doing practice pretty much the entire
I've
class.
taken so many notes that I don't have any more room in my.
Plenty of room.
Okay, I'm sorry. Do you need paper?
Oh no, I was just saying that.
May I use the
Okay.
restroom? Okay.
May you use the restroom? Sure. Go for it.
No.
That's because we take notes every day in math.
Your phone.
No, I know.
There you go.
Okay, where's my? So yesterday, we talked about the 4 inequality symbols. Those 4 inequality symbols were the is less than, is greater than, is less than or equal to, and is greater than or equal to. Everything about the lesson was about graphing. So today we are going to add on to that. We are solving inequalities and graphing. Anytime that you see an inequality symbol and I say, hey, solve it, excuse me, I want you to graph it as well, okay? So, first off, you need these tips. Tip number 1, the variable should end up on the left. We want that variable on the left. Okay, that's number 1. We want that variable on the left. Number 2, solve using your 6 steps sheet
Stop.
from what?
Solve.
Oh.
From equations. So if you still have your sheet that has all 6 steps on it,
Sure did.
you're going to want to use that. I know some of you don't. Come to me before school, after school, so I can remember to make a copy.
If you're really well.
I don't know what copy it would be, like number 27 or something. Something around there,
Are
okay.
you in the Christmas spirit?
I always forget it.
It's all right. Okay, the last one is not necessarily a tip. This is a rule, which is why it's going to get a star. Okay? This is the only thing that is actually has to happen. These don't have to happen. This has to happen. You're not going to understand it right away. We'll see examples eventually, but you need to have. Go ahead. Yes.
Doesn't the variable have to be on the left?
It doesn't have to.
Wait, you side? I thought that it had to be because that's why you switch them. What?
It's going to make it easier to graph. Okay, guys? We're getting back to this. So, if you multiply slash divide both sides by a negative. Okay? If you multiply or divide both sides by a negative. Yes, ma'am.
Can you grab there?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, if you multiply or divide both sides by a negative, you flip the inequality symbol. This doesn't make sense yet, but I will show you what we do with that. Again, this is not a tip as much as it is a rule. Okay, so make sure you have these copied down. If you can solve equations, which most of you have proven that you can, you've taken the quiz, you can solve basic equations. This lesson isn't going to be overly hard. I'm sorry, y'all. I feel much better, my headache's gone, but still got a lot of junk. What? What, Maris? I gave you a pencil and everything, and you just give me dirty looks, okay? Here we go. So,
like Max was his way to sit.
Wait, do that again. Do that again.
Why?
x plus 7 is less than or equal to.
Or he's they got
10.
it on your card.
Okay, come on back.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Come on back.
Austin attacked me.
Oh.
What do they do?
So we have this equation, or we have this inequality. It says x plus 7 is less than or equal to 10. We are going to solve this the same way that we solve equations. What do I do to isolate the x?
You do plus or minus 7 on both sides.
Yeah, we subtract 7 from both sides. So, when I subtract 7 from both sides, that gives me x is less than or equal to 3. I've now solved my inequality.
Hooray.
Now we have to graph it. 3, 2, 4. Open circle or closed circle?
Close.
Because?
It's equal.
Yeah, because it's also equal to. That means it's part of the solution. This 3 is allowed to be part of my solution. It's saying, hey, look, right here, this is part of it. Now, which way are we going to shade? Which way is it pointing?
Nowhere.
Yeah, it's pointing towards my wall. So we shade this direction. All of these are solutions. Because there's infinite number of numbers that are less than or equal to 3. Okay, you can't tell me how many numbers there are. Because it's infinite. It's solving an inequality. You've just done it. Was that hard?
Wait, 10 minus 7.
No.
What? That doesn't make sense. Wait, 10 minus 7 is 3.
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Let's go. 3x is greater than negative 12. So again, we're using those same 6 steps. There's no distributing. There's no combining like terms. Boom, boom, boom. We get to the last step, isolate the variable. How do we isolate the x? What do we have to do on both sides?
Divide by 3.
Yeah, we're dividing by what?
3.
We're dividing by a positive 3. Remember, this, again, we haven't even touched this yet. This is multiply or divide both sides by a negative. Are we dividing both sides by a negative?
No.
No, okay. So 3 divided by 3 is positive 1x, is greater than negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4.
Wait, so we divide.
We divided by a 3, yes. Because 3x is 3 times x. Still pretty easy. So that's negative 4, negative 5, negative 3. Open circle or closed circle? What do we think?
That would be open,
Open, because there's no,
equal to.
which means this is not part of my solution. Which way is it pointing, Riley? Which way is that arrowhead pointing? Is it pointing to the window? Or is the arrowhead the point of that inequality symbol? Yeah, it's pointing towards the window. So that's the way that we shade.
Wait, do you need our homework?
I'm doing the homework right now. Okay, questions so far? Let's try another one. We're gonna do a lot of examples. Okay, nothing really changes here. Try this one on your own. You're solving it just like an equation, and then you're going to graph it. Okay, then you get started on your own, and we'll go from there.
Are we graphing this one?
Yeah. So anytime that there's an inequality, also graph it. Okay, most of you are doing a great job starting this. Some of you have already had it finished and doing wonderfully on it, which is perfect. So, step 1, find the balance point. Step 2, distribute if needed. Nope, no parentheses. Step 3, combine like terms on the same side. Nope. Step 4, combine variables. Nope. Step 5, combine constants. Yes. I have a -8. Olivia, what's the inverse? How do I move that -8?
Plus added
Yeah.
sides.
We're going to add 8 to both sides. -8's are gone. That leaves me 4x is greater than or equal to 24. Step 6, isolate the variable using multiplication or division. Well, we need to divide. Gives me x is greater than or equal to 6.
I subtracted for some
Yeah, I don't know why.
Me
So
neither.
now we find the 6. We put the 5, we put the 7. Open circle or closed circle, Maris?
Close.
Because
It's equal to.
it's equal to, which means this is part of my solution. Which way is it pointed, Olivia? Is it pointed toward the window or towards the walls? So which way is that arrowhead pointed to? Yeah, this direction. It points this way, so that's the way that we shape. Questions there? Okay. Now let's get into ones that are going to confuse you a little bit.
No, I'm perfectly fine right here.
Well, you would fail the test if you didn't see the ones that would confuse you. Because then you'd see them on the test and you'd be like, hey, you never taught us this. You have a question? You have 2 questions?
Oh, no, I don't have 2 questions.
Do you have more than 2 questions?
No.
Do you? Okay, not yet.
I mean, like, not about math.
Okay, that's fair.
No. Anything
Let's
else?
go. -3x plus 1 is less than or equal to -8. Okay. This one will be a little tricky.
What is
Nothing's different yet. You don't even know it's different yet.
Yeah, Holly. Girl? You can
We're solving it just like number 3.
Girl? I'm not a boy.
I said girl.
You metal boy.
Well, guys.
That's funny.
Okay, so this one is only tricky because of one step. Find the balance point. We subtract 1 from both sides. That leaves me -3x is less than or equal to -9. What do I need to do?
Divide.
Divide what?
Negative.
Where?
Both sides.
I'm dividing by a -3 on both sides. When you multiply or divide by a negative on both sides, so that gives me x, that gives me 3, you have to flip this inequality.
Wait, wait, what?
That was my
You have to flip the inequality when you multiply or divide by a negative.
I must have missed that hint.
So now,
I have that.
it wasn't a hint, it was a tip, by the way. Tip.
Well, it's tip.
So now I have 3, I have 2, I have
Wait.
4.
Why do you
Wait, so
flip
does
it?
that mean that you have
Eddie?
to move the way your thing is going?
Yep, so if it's faced this way, whenever you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to. Gives me a greater than. And then we shade this direction.
Looks like there's stuff flying across the room.
He was looking at you.
That was not me.
Ew.
I think they should be sent out.
I think so, it's gonna happen soon.
You.
Guys, just sit down.
Me?
I'm just kidding, guys.
Okay, here we go.
I'm getting crazy.
Why do we flip it?
Did you say me?
Every time that you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to flip it. For right now, just go with that. If you're like, man, Mr. H, I really understand this, I can go in more in depth and you can show me like 27 other things, I'll teach you why. Right now, just understand that you have to. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have any more room about paper.
Okay, here we
Let's
go.
start a new paper. Right? Wait, actually? Just joking.
So again, this is very similar to what we've been doing. There's only one step that will change things.
-2 or -x?
So that negative is only with one. Which one do you think it should be with?
The 2.
There you go. Okay, so balance point. We subtract 1 from both sides. That leaves me, all of this comes down. Negative x divided by 2 is less than 7. The opposite of division is multiplication. We do that to both sides. So now I'm multiplying by a negative, which means we flip the inequality.
Wait, how'd you get 6?
8 minus 1.
Oh, I did put that.
Can't, you have to move your constant first. So then I graph negative 14, negative 15, negative 13. It is an open circle because there is no equal sign, which means it is not part of the solution. It's pointed this way, we shade this way. You do not have homework, but you do have problems that you are going to work on right now. And not that you haven't been already, but you can talk while you work on these.
Yay.
As long as you're working. So you are going to go to page 116 and 117 in your book. You are going to do numbers 8 through, whoa, not 8 through 9, hold on. Pause. Numbers 14, 15, and 17 through 20.
Can I use the restroom real fast?
Yes,
After that, can I fill my water bottle?
yes.
Can I go get my book from my mom?
No. There's 2 books right behind you. There's actually, you may borrow one of these 2 books.
So, like,
Okay, so you're doing 14, 15, 17 through 20.